to invite the leader of our academic community, our Vice Chancellor, of course, the very first female Vice Chancellor of this great citadel of academic excellence, who is also the chairperson of today's event. Join me as we welcome to the podium our Vice Chancellor, Professor Adewole Oladipo. At this point, I'd like to bring to the podium an elder statesman, an academic par excellence. You know, it's very rare in Nigeria to serve in two major offices without you being a guest of either the ICPC or the EFCC. The personality and calling served in those two offices without any guide, and is imprimatur of excellence as Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan and the Minister of Health of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are still clearly discernible. Join me as we welcome our guest lecturer, Professor Folorunso Adewole, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan and former Minister of Health, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please, can we give him a standing ovation, please? I've conferred and I've been directed to invite to the podium the Vice Chancellor of University of Ilesha, Professor Olufemi Ashaolu. A round of applause for the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ilesha. We have some key personalities in our midst. I'd like us to welcome with applause. You know, in Nigeria, it's not really easy to run businesses, especially given the climate that we're operating. But one man that has successfully run a business, quite a while, and he's an employer of labor, and he also gives back to the community from time to time, is Engineer Emmanuel Ojo Adewole. Can we recognize and welcome him? Is one of the awardees for today. He is CEO, MD, Navy Wires and Cable Nigeria Limited. I also recognize the presence of Alhaji Bade Lawal, Registrar at Adeleke University, Ede, Osun State. I recognize Dr. Dapo Adeniyi, Registrar, Joseph Babalola University. I recognize Mr. Akinkunmi Sunday Ayodele, representing the Registrar, Federal University of Oye-Ekiti. I recognize Mrs. Olufisayo Fakorede, Registrar, Adeyemi Federal University of Education. I recognize Prince Adewole Adeshida, former university librarian, you are welcome, sir. Mr. David Daramona, Registrar, St. Mary's University, Supari, Akoko, you are also recognized. I recognize Mr. Folorunso Adewole, Registrar, University of Ilesha. You would notice that this is actually a congregation of registrars. A round of applause for all the registrars here. Of course, we have some of our principal officers already seated. The university librarian is here, Dr. Robert Akande, we recognize you. Mr. Peter Oshaluba, the former university registrar, as well as one of the leaders of the university registry in Nigeria. We recognize you, the boss, the Chancellor of the Exchequer. We recognize Mr. Richard Arifalo, former registrar of FUTA and one of the leaders of the registry in Nigeria. Professor Oluwayo Bello, registrar, Dean, full of postgraduate studies. It's because there are so many registrars, they are almost likely to call everybody. We recognize Professor Philip Oguntunde, former Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development. You are welcome, sir. I'd like to recognize one of the builders of this university who also built or joined the building of Obafemi Awolowo University, Mr. Ayorinde Olorinde Ogu, former registrar of Obafemi Awolowo University. We recognize Professor Oluwe Ajayi, former registrar FUTA. You are welcome. We recognize the Acting Director of Audit, Mr. Lawal. You are welcome, sir. We also recognize one of our own, Princess Tola Orokun, former regent, Akunwa Akoko, Kabiyesi. One of our is also here, Dr. Ebo Ayola, former registrar. So now, welcome, sir. At this point, we want to formally kickstart the program. I would therefore invite all of us to rise for the national anthems of Nigeria and that of FUTA.
Oh,
I'm told that the Dean, School of Physical Sciences, Professor Femi Barnabas Adewole is also with us. We welcome you to this occasion, sir. At this point, we'll take other recognitions as we go on. I'd like to invite the podium, the Registrar, Secretary to the Council, and Chief Scribe of our institution, Mr. Charles Olusegun Adeleye, to deliver his address. Mr. Registrar, sir.
The Vice Chancellor and Chairman of this occasion, Professor Adewole, FAS, Deputy Vice Chancellors and other principal officers of the university, top government functionaries here present, our distinguished guest lecturer, Professor Folorunso Adewole, FAS, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished awardees of today, Vice Chancellors and former Vice Chancellors here present, I recognize in particular the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ilesha, Professor Olufemi Ashawo. Registrars and former registrars, let me at this juncture specifically recognize the former registrar, my own mentor, and that former registrar of Obafemi Awolowo University, Dr. Ibadan gave me. I also wish to specially recognize the first substantive registrar of the Federal University of Technology and Brevet, Professor Olayinka. I recognize presence of the fifth substantive presence of registrar of the Federal University of Technology and Study, the former registrar now, Dr. Matthew Ayola. The colonial registrar of the Federal I recognize our family ambassadors for other members who are here for other community. Inside the world, in the past, the university, Mr. Simona Bola, the master of the institute, brother. Mr. David Sunday Karamola, the final registrars from Mario I also wish to recognize presence of our own group, Mr. I recognize the two registrars from other universities who are present here this morning. My sister, Prof. I Nigerian University of Education, Ibadan, I recognize the registrar of family of India for the University as the leader. Our people are here, professional administrators, you are here to take the part of them. My brother registered Mr. Payo, Babalola University of the Alama, I also wish to recognize the register of Mark Academy and the people. Register William and only people are here. God bless you for coming. I think really I like to have to register for this morning. Provost, deans and directors here, other officers of the university, distinguished colleagues from other institutions, chairman and members of the Registry Annual Lecture Committee, fellow professional administrators, staff, students, and invited guests, distinguished guests and friends of the university, great veterans, gentlemen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am greatly delighted to welcome you all to this momentous occasion of the 14th Registry Annual Lecture of the Federal University of Technology and Agriculture, the best university of technology in Nigeria. And indeed one of the leading universities in the country. I am most grateful to God for making this day a reality, and especially the opportunity given me to once again preside over the second Registry Annual Lecture under my watch since I became the registrar over 2 years ago. This occasion has grown in leaps and bounds to become a significant intellectual and professional tradition in the university, providing a platform for reflection, discourse, continuous development of the registry, and administrative best practices within our institutions. Today, we are gathered not just to celebrate the consistencies and growth of this lecture series, but to reaffirm our commitment to excellence, integrity, and innovation in university administration. In the past 14 years and counting, this lecture has evolved into an avenue where ideas are exchanged, challenges are accepted, and solutions are recommended in order to promote efficiency and excellent service delivery within registry and tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Permit me to express my profound appreciation to the Chief Host of the day, my amiable and exquisite Vice Chancellor, my highly refined boss, the first female Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Nigeria, Professor Adewole FAS, for our unwavering support to Registry at all times, and for fostering an environment of excellence, quality, and continuous improvement within the university. She has been a great supporter of Registry since she assumed office over 3 years ago, and has prepared Registry at the core of the university administration to function and perform optimally in facilitating the system towards improved productivity and efficiency. Thank you, Madam Vice Chancellor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it will not be a remiss to recall the profound sense of pride and responsibility that Registry Annual Lecture started first in 2009 at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, under the leadership of the late Dr. Mrs. Knight Funke MNI. The third substantive register of the university before all other universities in Nigeria jumped on the bandwagon. By the special grace of God and the collective efforts of the University Registry, coupled with the unflinching support of the university management and the sagacity of the succeeding registrars, the fourth substantive register, Professor Adewole, and the fifth substantive register, Mr. Richard Adewole, the legacy of the Registry Annual Lecture has been sustained, and the event has spread to many universities across the length and breadth of our great country. Recently, and with the support of my boss, the Vice Chancellor, I led a team of senior and middle-level registry staff to the University of Benin to support and participate in its maiden edition of the Registry Annual Lecture under the leadership of the Registrar, Mr. Adewole, our ambassador and nominee to UNIBEN, who made history as the first registrar to organize the media edition of the program at the university. The topic for this year's lecture, the Conundrum of Leadership Emergence in Nigerian Higher Education Institutions, the missing links, is not only timely but also critical to the ongoing discourse around higher education reforms, leadership and institutional governance. We are indeed honored to have as our guest speaker of today our daddy, Professor Folorunso Adewole, FAS, a highly respected professional and seasoned administrator par excellence, to do justice to the subject matter before us. We look forward to drawing on your rich experience and insight on the subject matters. The guest lecturers in the past Registry Annual Lecture have drawn from different fields of human endeavors, and they have all contributed at one point or the other to the advancements of education and national development. It is on this note that I want to especially welcome our guest lecturer today, a former Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, a former Honorable Minister of Health, and an astute administrator of Nomi Reverend, Professor Professor Folorunso Adewole, who has been carefully chosen to deliver the 14th Registry Annual Lecture of the Federal University of Technology and Work. Professor Folorunso Adewole is a Nigerian gynecology and obstetrics at the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. He became the Honorable Minister of Health, Federal Ministry of Health on 11th November 2015. He served as the 11th Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, from 2010 to 2015, and also past President of African Organization for Research and Training in Cancer, and many more. Thank you very profoundly for graciously accepting our invitation to deliver the 14th edition of the Registry Annual Lecture. Thank you so much. Given the stature and experience of our guest lecturer, especially in his previous leadership position vis-à-vis the topic of the lecture, I am confident that we have invited the right person for today's job. Indeed, we rank them in a round go. Ladies and gentlemen, the role of all our previous speakers at FUTA Registry Annual Lecture is as presented at the table that I will be able to relate. But to save time, I won't be able to go through. I would like to inform this congregation that these past lectures have enjoyed tremendous participation from all over the country, and the feedbacks have been very heartwarming and encouraging. I am confident that today's lecture will also be exciting, thought-provoking, and instructive, given the experience and quality of our guest lecturer. I am quite certain that at the end of today's lecture, a new vision of insight and dimension will have been added to our perspectives of the discourse. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in our usual practice, this occasion also presents the opportunity to recognize and celebrate distinguished Nigerians who have contributed immensely to the growth and development of education in our nation, Nigeria, for awards and distinctions. It is therefore my pleasure and honor to inform this gathering that the award has attracted the likes of Chief Wale Oladipo Sam, His Royal Majesty of Bahade Ellington, who is Ojoja II, the Honor Official, former Muslim First Lady Dr. Betty Ayawu, and many others. The nomination and approval of selected individuals is usually done through a carefully implemented screening process. Based on the foregoing, therefore, our honorary awardees for this great occasion are Right Honorable Victor Adekoye Olabinton, former Speaker of the State House of Assembly and Chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, and our daddy engineer Emmanuel Ojuade, the Chief Executive Officer, Thank Wire Cable Nigeria Limited. I congratulate and rejoice with them for the noble recognition of your outstanding achievement and selfless service to the nation and humanity. And this is our hope that we will keep the flag flying by not relenting on your works. Also on this occasion, the award of FUTA Awarding Ambassador will be bestowed upon two prominent seasoned directors and administrators of the University Registry, who were eminently qualified and appointed as registrars of other sister institutions in our country and meritoriously served out their tenures. I therefore congratulate one, Dr. Matthew Odulade Ayola JP, former registrar, Federal University of Agriculture of Ibadan State. He served in Abash Registrar between 2012 and 2017 and completed his tenure successfully as a worthy ambassador of FUTA. Similarly, I congratulate my brother Mr. Felix Felishai Adetula, a pioneer registrar Federal Polytechnic in the Ondo State. He also served meritoriously between 2015 and 2020 and completed his tenure successfully as a worthy ambassador of FUTA. They have made us proud and therefore deserve to be honored in their lifetime. Let me at the junction welcome our traditional rulers who are here to grace this occasion with their royal presence. We are indeed blessed to have you in our midst. Let me also at the junction thank most sincerely our resource person for the in-house training session that we had yesterday, Wednesday, 23rd July 2025. They did justice to all the topics. I especially thank the immediate past registrar of FUTA, Mr. Richard Adewole. God bless you, sir. I also thank the panel registrar, Samari University Superior, who was also our resource person yesterday. Mr. David Sulekarama, God bless you. The Director of Corporate Communication and Information, Mr. Adebayo, thank you very much. I thank the Deputy Director, Guidance and Chancellor, Dr. Obele, God bless you. The Acting Director, CRC, Mr. Kukuli, I say thank you to you. I want to express my profound appreciation to all members of staff in the registry of this great university for their efforts, unalloyed cooperation, and sacrifice, especially at these challenging times, to make this occasion a good success. Your steadfastness, commitment, cooperation, and financial involvement have made this event a reality. May the good Lord bless. May the good Lord bless and take you to higher heights till you realize your ultimate dreams. You are wonderful. To the planning committee, that is Registry Annual Lecture Organizing Committee rather, led by my brother Mr. I.A. Fafila, I especially commend your tireless efforts and dedication in putting together this epoch-making events. Your commitment reflects the values we uphold: professionalism, esprit de corps, service, and innovation. Your work speaks loud and clear, and the result is what we are witnessing today. Thank you very much. Before I conclude my welcome address, let me welcome my sweetheart to this occasion, my wife, Mrs. Comfort Adewole. Thank you for coming. Once again, I welcome you all to the 14th Registry Annual Lecture and encourage you to participate actively as we engage in today's lecture. May this season inspire us to do more and better in our respective roles as custodians of academic integrity and institutional memory. May the insights shared today light the path for progress in our beloved nation's ivory path. Thank you and God bless.
Let's go with the applause of our chief host, the registrar and secretary to council of our great university. I welcome to this gathering Professor A.O. Meguti, the acting dean Sesek. I welcome sir. Professor Victor Ukwenya, acting provost, College of Health Sciences, FUTA. We welcome you, sir. One of the awardees, Mr. Felix Adetula, Director of Student Affairs, Divisional Pioneer Registrar, Federal Polytechnic Ileoguchi. We welcome you, sir. We also welcome Mr. Itayo Oyewole, Bowen University, the Deputy Registrar. We welcome you. At this point, in the next 2 minutes, I will be calling the delegates of universities who are here. Their registrar will come to our registrar to deliver their goodwill message to him personally. If you are not here with your goodwill message, ensure that your family grab his hand and give him a very warm handshake. The first on my list is Registrar, Federal University of Ekiti. Could you please proceed? To be followed by Registrar, University of Malaysia. Followed by Registrar, Redeemers University, Ede. Registrar, Bamidele Olumilua University of Science and Technology, Ikere Ekiti. Registrar, Ekiti State University at Ekiti. Registrar, University of Ibadan. Registrar, Adeyemi Federal University of Education, Ondo. A round of applause for that wonderfully new university. Registrar, Federal College of Education, Special Oyo State, all the way from Oyo State. Can we double the applause and encourage the delegates from Nigerian College of Education? Of course, our own Registrar, Elizabeth University, Lara Mokin. The Registrar, Bowen University, or its representative. And wait for this, Registrar, Federal University of Technology and Environmental Sciences, Ekiti. A round of applause in front of the US University under this new dispensation. The Day of Life Sciences. I'm told that one of our own is also here, fully representing the person. The Registrar, Delamare University, Supari, the representative of X University is also here. Registrar, Joseph Ayo, Babalola University, Ikeji, Arakeji, Osun State. Dean of Life Sciences, Professor Michael Ashamu, you are welcome, sir. The Vice President, FUTA Alumni Worldwide, Mrs. Olan, we welcome you to this gathering. I'm confused, but it's a good confusion. I recognize Professor Ola Salawo, also is one of our mentors in FUTA. At this point, I'd like to bring to the podium the first female Vice Chancellor of this great university, the leader of our academic community, our Vice Chancellor and Chairman of this occasion, Professor Adewole, to give our Vice Chancellor.
The guest speaker of today, Professor Isaac Folorunso Adewole, CON, FAS, Vice Chancellor, University of Ilesha, Professor Olufemi Ashaolu, the Deputy Vice Chancellors, Registrar, Mr. Charles Olusegun Adeleye and his beautiful wife, visiting registrars from other institutions, other principal officers from the University Librarian, the University Bossa, former principal officers, you can see the former UBC Development, our own Dr. Omoruku, Mr. Arifado, Mrs. Professor Mrs. Ajayi, my sister, my friend, Dr. Ayola, Mr. Adetola, others who I may not have noticed. My lords, spiritual and temporal, traditional leaders, top government functionaries, provosts, deans, directors, and heads of departments, participants from other universities, honorees of today here present, as I know Engineer Adewole is here, the CEO of MQYS, Nigeria Limited, esteemed members of staff of FUTA Registry, invited guests and friends of the university, gentlemen of the press, great Futarians. Futarians are we good this morning? Great Futarians. Thank you very much. We are always great. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure and profound sense of responsibility that I stand before this august gathering, the 14th Registry Annual Lecture of the Federal University of Technology, Ibadan. This occasion marks yet another milestone in the intellectual and administrative tradition of our great institution, a tradition of reflective engagement on the challenges and transformational possibilities in the governance of higher education in Nigeria. The topic of this year's discourse, the Conundrum of Leadership Emergence in Nigerian Higher Education Institutions, the basic themes, would not have been more apt, especially in an era when our universities are in their need of not just leaders, but visionary, ethical, and institution-focused leadership. I would like to start by commending the registry of our great university, the driving force behind this commendable lecture series. My appreciation goes to our dynamic registrar, Mr. Charles Olusegun Adeleye, and his entire team. I commend your sustained commitment to professionalism and advancement of FUTA, initiated by late Dr. Mrs. Eunice Funke Oyebade MNI, and maintained by our successors. This lecture series has evolved into an indisputable intellectual confluence, steering crucial conversations about the very essence and the future trajectory of higher education in Nigeria. I am aware that over the years, you have invited several persons to serve as guest speakers. On Saturday, I met with His Imperial Majesty, the Ooni of Ile-Ife, and he did mention to me that at one time he came to FUTA and attended the registry lecture. He also reminded me that at that lecture he made a promise to donate some money to FUTA. I think he promised $1 million at that time. And he said that he would wish that I follow up with him so that he can actualize his donation. So we are following up on behalf of the registry. Today we are singularly honored to welcome a man of an accomplished academic, and an embodiment of principled leadership in the Nigerian academic and public service. Is no other person but Professor Folorunso Adewole, CON-FAS, is the former Vice Chancellor of the first university in Nigeria. We call it the Premier University, the University of Ibadan, and the former Honorable Minister of FUTA of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Professor Adewole is a name that evokes respect, admiration, and scholarly excellence across the length and breadth of Nigeria and far beyond. He has served the nation in various high-ranking capacities, and in every role he has assumed, he has left behind an indelible legacy of service, reform, and courage, especially as Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan and Honorable Minister of Health in Nigeria. Sir, on behalf of the Governing Council, the Senate, management, staff, and students of FUTA, I thank you most profoundly for honoring our invitation. Earlier this morning, while in my office, I told our distinguished guest lecturer that this time around, FUTA did not only catch a big fish, we caught a golden fish. Professor Adewole is one of the people we refer to as our living legend in the academia. Thank you very much for coming, sir. We believe and pray that God will spare your life many more years to continue to shape the academic community. The theme of this year's lecture, the Conundrum of Leadership Emergence in the Nigerian Higher Institutions, the missing link compels us to interrogate not just the nature of leadership in our universities, but also the processes and principles that inform its emergence. I congratulate the awardees, especially those found worthy as ambassador of Registry. FUTA as a university remains committed to building a culture of principled leadership rooted in integrity, professionalism, and academic excellence. Our processes continue to evolve to reflect global best practices in university governance. The registry in particular remains central to this transformation as it anchors the administrative life of the university and ensures that due process is kept in focus in the scheme of things. My sincere thanks go to the newly constituted Registry Annual Lecture Organizing Committee, ably led by my boss, Mr. Isaac Adewole, the deputy registrar in the business office, so I call him my boss, because when he says sit, I have to sit. And when he writes, I have to read. I thank you for everything that you have done to keep the business office in order and your contribution to this work also. Your dedication to intellectual engagement is truly commendable and perfectly aligns with FUTA's mission of innovation and excellence. And to the entire team, I say may God bless you abundantly. Amen. Let me once again express my deepest gratitude to our guest lecturer, Professor Adewole, FAS. Sir, your life and work stand as a testament to what true academic leadership can accomplish. In my office today, we have discussed some of the aberrations that we now see in the academic community. And I believe over time, we will all sit down and reshape our academic community. Some of us have stayed long enough to witness several debates in the university community. And what we are seeing now is far from what we used to see. I tell people, as maybe old or as young as I am, I don't know which one, whichever one applies on the pen. I have seen over 3 decades as a staff in the Nigerian university system. And if I compare what we have now alleviated massively from our culture. We hope that we will be able to retrace our steps and restore the confidence of the entire nation in the university system. To all our guests and participants, I invite you to engage deeply with the ideas that will be shared today. Let this not be just another event, but a catalyst for reform. One that strengthens the soul of our institutions and inspires us all to do better, to be better, and to live better. We must also develop and form collaborations as we sit today. Please ensure that you meet somebody from another institution. Make sure you get, before you leave out today, just ensure that you get the address of somebody from another institution. The university, the Nigerian university system is just one system, and therefore we have a right and responsibility to ensure that one system connects and connects well. Please collaborate with somebody else. If you come from Indonesia, if you don't meet and befriend somebody from FUTA today, you have not done well. As you can see, when the VC walked in, it didn't take me half a minute to recognize it because we meet, we collaborate, we talk, and we call ourselves from time to time when there is a need to rub minds on issues. You will also need to call persons to rub minds, share ideas, share experiences. That is what life is all about. I believe that I can also close by saying one Yoruba program. Our Yoruba people, apologies because I grew up in the village. The Yoruba people say, if you don't speak Yoruba, ask your neighbor to interpret. But what I'm trying to say is you become a very good administrator when you can use part of it and borrow from the wisdom of another person to help shaping your decision. On this note, I want to thank you and say God bless you and our university. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we double the applause for an academic liaison who has kept faith in the tradition of excellence of this great university. Once again, a round of applause for our Vice Chancellor. I'd like to recognize Mr. Aboki this Sunday, Deputy Registrar, Osun. I'd like to recognize the Deputy Corps Commander in charge of training of the FRSC, Adewole Bashiru. Welcome to our great university side. And of course, one of our own, the son of the soil, the President of FUTA Alumni Association Worldwide, Engineer Adewole Bashiru. We welcome you, sir. I'm told the delegates from these universities have also joined us. Achievers University Award, a round of applause for them. Afe Babalola University at Ekiti, we welcome you. Osun State University Osogbo, delegates from that university, we welcome you. The Registrar Adeleke University, Alhaji Badige Shilawa, you are welcome, sir. Thank you for coming, and we know you will enjoy your stay with us. At this point, I'd like to bring my colleague, Chijima Okwade.
Folorunso Adewole, FAS. He is a professor of gynecology and obstetrics. He was Minister of Health of the Federal Republic of Nigeria from November 2015 to May 2019 under the cabinet of President Muhammadu Buhari. He also served as the 11th substantive Vice Chancellor of the nation's premier university, the University of Ibadan, from December 2010 to November 2015. Prior to his appointment as Vice Chancellor, he served as Provost at the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, the largest and oldest medical school in Nigeria. the University of Ibadan, having served as head of Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Dean of the Faculty of Clinical Sciences and Dentistry, and member of the Senate from 1997 until his retirement on May 5th, 2024. Professor Isaac Adewole is the former president of the African Organization for Research and Training in Cancer. He co-founded the African Cancer Coalition and is a member of the International Task Force on the elimination of cervical cancer in the Commonwealth. Cancer, sexual and reproductive health and rights, abortion, HIV, and human papillomavirus. As Minister of Health, Professor Adewole launched an ambitious program system to tackle disease outbreaks effectively. He served as a commissioner on the WHO High-Level Commission on NCD from 2018 to 2019 and the Lancet Oncology Commission on Cancer Control in Sub-Saharan Africa. He is also a member of the UNESCO UNFPA-sponsored High-Level Committee on West and Central Africa, which is dedicated to promoting the health and well-being of adolescents and young people. In 2020, Emperor Naruhito awarded him the Order of the Rising Sun and the Gold and Silver Star of Japan in recognition of his efforts as Minister of Health and for promoting closer Japanese-Nigeria relations. He is the chair of the National Task Force of Cervical Cancer Elimination in Nigeria and a senior health diplomacy and policy consultant for the African Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Additionally, he serves as advisor to the Ministerial Executive Leadership Program of the Africa CDC. As part of his contributions to community service, he is patron of the Boys Brigade of Nigeria. Currently, he is involved in reviewing the National Comprehensive Cancer Network's harmonized cancer treatment guidelines for Sub-Saharan Africa and serves on the Lancet Commission on Cancer and Health Systems. Madam Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present Professor Isaac Folorunso Adewole, an Associate Administrator, a powerful pioneer medical professional, to deliver the 13th Registry Annual Lecture titled The Conundrum of Leadership Emergence in Nigerian Higher Education Institutions. The listening.
First female Vice Chancellor, because I'm a lobby guy, I'm fascinated by women in leadership. First female Vice Chancellor of FUTA, Professor Adewole, Temidayo, FAS. I hope you are not really bothered about my Vice Chancellor for Indonesia, I'm truly honored by your presence here today and your team also for Ambassador of Malaysia. The registrar of this great institution, Mr. Charles Adewole. Let me also recognize the Deputy Vice Chancellors, particularly Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor Development, the Bossa, the Librarian, and other highly valued personalities here present today. And I will start with Mrs. Adewole. Thank you so much for supporting your husband. Without you, I'm sure it won't go far. Thank you for standing by him, in front of him, and behind him. Let me also appreciate the awardees of today. Congratulations on being recognized. I think what is most important is that you are being recognized while still alive. Someone said, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar while Caesar is still alive. Congratulations. I also want to recognize former Vice Chancellor, former registrars, and I will use the Emeritus Registrar as the point of reference. Chief Ogurugu, Esquire. Thank you so much for what you have done for the Nigerian university system and for upholding the rule of law within the system. I also want to congratulate Mrs. Adewole, Professor Mrs. Adewole, one for being able to switch from this side to the other side. I think it's unique. There are not many people who have done that. The other notable person who has done that is the Director of Tertiary Education, Professor Jamila, who moved from being director, permanent secretary, became registrar in the university, and the Vice Chancellor. So I'm sure one day, don't be surprised if Professor Adewole becomes the Vice Chancellor. Other registrars, provosts, deans, directors, heads of departments, invited guests, and dear students, members of the media, esteemed ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by appreciating the registrar for his tenacity. I was reluctant to honor his invitation. At a point in time when I said I've given enough lectures, now I want to rest. That when I see when you go into retirement, that's when you get more busy. And I try to dodge you, but you will not give up. So thank you, Mr. Registrar, for not giving up. Madam Vice Chancellor, I celebrate you. I wish you a most successful tenure. Women do it better. They are more organized, thorough, efficient, and the mistake we make is to underrate them, and we do so at a peril. And I also want to thank all those who encouraged me to take on the assignment. And I want to appreciate all those who came because it is me. And the Vice Chancellor, University of Malaysia, is leading this team. I will start with the disclosure, Madam Chair and Vice Chancellor. I've been actively involved in 3 Vice Chancellor races, directly or indirectly, in 2006, 2010, and 2015. And I served as a consultant to the Governing Council of this university. And that exercise led to the appointment of Professor Adewole of blessed memory in 2012. The outline of this presentation is as displayed up there. I will give an introduction, discuss the higher education system in Nigeria, speak about leadership, the university system, something very peculiar to the university system, the committee and consensus building system, the challenges facing the university system, the future of the university system, pathway to repositioning and rebuilding the university system, the autonomy bit and implementation, leadership emergence in higher education institutions, the conundrum and the missing link, strategies for fostering leadership emergence, recommendations, and conclusions. I visited your website, Madam Vice Chancellor, and the Vice Chancellor, and the website is active, and I want to say congratulations. I love playing with websites of institutions. When an institution is alive, your website was their life. And I want to say your website is alive. Your website is not only alive, it has also responded to even the most directives from the Minister of Education. Your annual budgetary allocation is on the website. So thank you so much for being transparent, for being accountable, and for leading the way. And you also displayed the fund allocation. So there's nothing opaque about money matter in this institution. Congratulations. And I said, I'm happy to be here again. My first visit was to serve as a consultant, as I said earlier on, in the appointment of the Vice Chancellor then. The second visit that brought me to this hall was to attend your convocation ceremony in 2013. And today is my third visit, and I'm happy to be back. The Registry Annual Lecture Series is a unique series of lectures carefully selected topics, reflecting the needs of the university system. And from the information provided by the registrar, it started in 2009 and has held annually, except on 3 occasions. I think there was a strike, we had COVID, and so on and so forth. And the speakers are carefully selected. They are mostly university administrators, comprising 5 Vice Chancellors, 3 registrars, and 1 Pro-Chancellor. There are also a list of 5 other prominent Nigerians who, at one time or the other, gave these lectures. The first in the series was given in 2009 by the first female registrar in University of Ibadan, Chief Mrs. Adewole, who spoke on emotional intelligence as a key to relevance in the university registry. She was closely followed by another registrar, Barrister Shodimu, followed by the foremost public administrator, Dr. Folorunso Adewole, and then Professor Jerry, former registrar of JAM, followed. My predecessor in office gave in 2013. Professor Ibadan, the former Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos, gave in 2014. My Pro-Chancellor, senior in secondary school, Chiwole Olanipe, gave in 2015. A journalist, public administrator, former Chief Executive of NDDC, Mrs. Military, gave in 2016. Another Vice Chancellor in 2018, another Vice Chancellor in 2019, and a journalist, publisher in 2021, and of course, the Registrar Emeritus in 2023, and a technology enthusiast, act collector, golfer in 2024, and my humble self now. I will start talking about higher education. The higher education has been described by AI as an organization that provides post-secondary education. And certain things are constant about higher education. One, that it includes institutions such as universities, colleges, and various professional schools, and they offer a program at undergraduate, graduate, and research level. And they occur after post-secondary. Again, they lead to the award of degrees. 3, they have a group of students. They are located in a building or a group of buildings. And there are 3 main types of institutions: university level, college institutions, and stand-alone institutions. Leadership, on the other hand, is it, and it is key. It goes beyond managing daily operations. It involves a clear vision for the institution's future, the ability to motivate faculty, staff, and students, and a strong commitment to creating an environment that fosters learning, research, and community engagement. And unlike corporate leadership, there's something special about academic leadership, which the Vice Chancellor mentioned. In academic leadership, the leader must blend culture, it's like looking back, and also look forward and add innovation. So you are much more special than the head of any organization, because you must make a blend. Someone will say that is the law, that's not how we used to do it. So the culture in the academic institution is sacrosanct, and we are glued to it, yet we want to innovate. And in a quickly changing global environment, effective leadership in universities and colleges is more important than ever. In higher institutions, the leadership will talk about the code of leadership, which comprises the Vice Chancellor, the Rector, the Provost, the Registrar, the Librarian, the Bossa. It's a code that they consume. But for the purpose of this presentation, I will refer the leader to that position of Vice Chancellor, Rector, and Provost. And the university system has existed for over 1,000 years worldwide. Initially, the university system was created to perpetuate inequity. And when you look at discourses, lectures about the university system, they talk about how it was mainly for the elite in the beginning, and then we started talking about access to university education. So initially, it was a court, only the son of the minister or the daughter of the minister will go to the university. And thereafter, over time, the commoner, son and daughter of the commoner will now be able to enter. And specific ideas remain prominent with respect to the university system. Knowledge creation and dissemination, as well as the provision of public and private goods. In a manifesto for the public university edited by John Howard in 2011, the focus is on public benefits and how universities serve the public or the publics. And across the globe, the new dimension now is how are universities influencing and promoting public goods and promoting national economies. And when universities are not locally relevant and globally competitive, then there is a problem. The word university originates from the Latin word universitas, meaning a whole, the whole of the universe. And the first universities started in Africa, just as human race started in Africa. And no matter what people say, the black race is the superior race, and God has created us better and stronger and more robust. And they've done so many studies to look at why are we better in everywhere. That is just God. And as of 2011, there are now 300 universities operating in Nigeria. As of June 11, 2025, they are still counting. That's why you must put it. And as of July 11, this pack of 300 universities comprise 71 federal universities, 69 states, and 160 private universities. And that to me will speak volume as a deliberate attempt to have more private universities than public. And it's so easy. Those who made that decision did it deliberately because of prolonged strife. If they keep on causing trouble for us in public universities, let's invest in private. And that's what we're having. I won't say more than that. University organizations are complex and dynamic community of scholars, and they have clear goals. When you look at the website, goals, vision, mission, objectives are clearly there. And we are looking at an higher institution. Sometimes our students, they say, oh, I'm going to school. And I said, university is more than a school. You are narrating the institution when you call your university school. University is more than a school. It has a school, it has a laboratory, there is accommodation, there are offices, a workplace. It's a complex organization. So when you say you are going to school, please, it is not a school. It is more than a school. And there are what we call some specific values that we need from the university. One is the research output. The research output is very important. I'm sure you don't know how they are doing. The one on top here is the research output. And then the contribution to global economy and international discourse. And then impact on local community, the nation, and the world at large. Something has happened between now and the time I send my slides. It's getting disorganized. I think there must be something in your system, a virus, which you have given to us. And I said there are imperatives. Universities must take great pains to promote high-grade research through their structure and facilities, and by continually empowering their staff and students to engage in pertinent research activities. And that universities that pay only lip service to research have no place in the congregation of highly rated universities. And added what I said a couple of minutes ago, that university must be locally relevant and positively impact the Nigerian society. The beauty of the university is the committee of consensus system. And this is important. It saves the head and skin of the Vice Chancellor. There was a time someone came from Abuja, came to my office and said, we want this candidate admitted to medicine. And I smiled. I know they would not believe me if I said, sorry, we cannot admit your candidate, but it doesn't operate like that. So I called the admission officer in the UN, and I said, admission officer, go and admit the candidate to medicine. They all sat there in office. And the man took it, said, sir, this cannot happen in a university. And I looked down and smiled. That is the beauty of the university, because there is a committee for admission. You cannot admit a candidate in the office of the Vice Chancellor. And so, the committee system allows people to come together, dialogue, spend time to discuss matters, and also allows for distillation before it gets to the office of the Vice Chancellor. And it underpins the essence of the university system. And we do not have kings and emperors in the university. We have a leader who sits over this complex committee and consensus building system. And again, I added that it's a structure between decision-making, authority, and responsibility, and shared among groups of individuals, particularly representing different parts of the university, including faculty, staff, students, and administration. And committees can be permanent, can be ad hoc, and it depends on the assignments that you give to them. And I said, within the university, they fulfill various functions: policy formulation, oversight and evaluation, problem solving, and representation. And the common terms are the academic and faculty, curriculum, search committee that you will be interested in the things we are talking about, Conundrum, the leadership emergence, and then the selection committee, which is down, chaired by the Prof Chancellor, and then you have students affairs, but there are different committees in the university system. And the benefits are there. intimacy, it improves quality of decision, improves skill development, allows for conflict mitigation, and also promotes flexibility within the system. There are challenges in the adoption of a committee and consensus-building system. It causes delay because it's not something that the Vice Chancellor can just sit on the table and do. Sometimes there are overlapping mandates, there could be unequal participation, and then it cause fatigue and burnout. Some people are overused. If they are your favorites and you think they attend meetings more than the others. And I also listed some case studies. We will need them for curriculum review. They are very important in the appointment of the Vice Chancellor, where you need a search committee. The committee will be mandated to look for people who ordinarily are qualified but they will not apply. They don't want to get involved. Would they ever pick me? Haven't they selected someone? Haven't they made up their mind to appoint Professor Wisely as Vice Chancellor? They are certain. We could start committee report and say, no, because we are in the process of screening. No decision has been made. You have a chance. You've been highly recommended. Please, let's have your CV and do us a vision and mission document which we will add to the list. That's the job of the search committee. And then there is the election committee comprising representation from Council and Senate chaired by the Co-Chancellor, who will then really interrogate the selected or shortlisted candidates and then send a list of 3 to the Council. And then when there is a crisis in the institution, some committees, it could be the entire Senate, or depending on the nature of the crisis, will also be good. And then I also went on to discuss the challenges of the university. Number 1 is politicization of the system. We can no longer separate the university from politics. And that's tough. I think there was a time in Ibadan where even the Vice Chancellor was a card-carrying member. It could be as bad as that. Then problem with funding, lack of clear goals and vision, absence of entrepreneurial mindset, collapse of internalization, and I went on to talk about other challenges, industrial crisis, and there was a year universities were locked up for almost 7 months, poor salaries. When you look at the valuation now, the price of money handles and $500. There was a time they had $200,000, but now the salary is poor. Low societal appreciation of the value of universities. I could remember a publisher at the point of time who came to UC was seen by a professor, and after that he said, how much do they have? That was in the era of 12,000 naira. And he said, I think I can have about 4 or 5 of them to look after me. Then you also have weak infrastructure and policies, declining research culture, absence of research grants, lack of centralized coordination of research, increased demand for enrollment. There's a lot of pressure. But I'm one of those people who still believe that universities are still under activity. University of Cairo has a population of 207,000 students. And I'm not sure the University of Nigeria today has more than 50 or 60,000. So you can do more by expanding the facilities, more lecture rooms, putting IT, and they can take 3 more students. And then we have cultivating bullying and sexual assault. And then this morning, the Vice Chancellor and I also spoke about the future of the university system. And I said, yes, I have 1 or 2 slides on the future of the university system. We have also talked about a new order. I particularly believe that universities must really reinvent itself if we are to make success. I think a couple of months ago, the alumni group in Ibadan came to visit the Pro-Chancellor, and the Pro-Chancellor invited me to be in audience. at the end, they greeted him, exchanged words and ideas and pleasantries. And he then said, "Can I throw a question?" I said, "Yes, sir, you are free to throw anything." He said, "Why can the Alumni Association not write a government to say we want to take over and run my university?" And to me, it's a real challenge. And like the alumni president, they said, "Go and look at the autonomy bill. The autonomy bill has a lot to recommend. If only we have the courage to implement the autonomy bill." Universities are renowned for their commitment to academic freedom and intellectual creativity. And these values have been eroded over the years. It's like as if we went to sleep. Gradually, we are being over-regulated. Probably every week, there is a committee visiting us for every week. Yesterday, the Vice Chancellor of Ibadan gave his apology and said, "I'm being visited by a committee from FUTA." This morning, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Health Sciences in Ibadan called me and said, "Sorry, I won't be able to come because I'm also being visited by a team from federal character." So you have them coming every day. And I wonder whether the Vice Chancellors really have time to do their job. And at our own time, we were lucky because we could still employ. I did not have to take permission from Abuja to employ. We had control over our money, but it's no longer the case. I'm not sure Madam Vice Chancellor now can employ without taking permission. You have to go through federal character, head of service, and you probably have to go to Abuja now. And this loss of autonomy has been steady. And I said this is evident in the politicization of the Governing Council and the reduction in funding and the introduction of the envelope system. Sometimes they just tell you this is how much you are giving you without the cause or any scientific basis. Or if you are funding and receiving, there must be a basis for the funding. But you are just giving something and that's all. Other issues include the centralization of admission, centralized negotiation and university salary scales that do not account for workload and specialization, as well as the intrusion of religious considerations. My letter of employment stated that I was employed by the Governing Council of Ibadan, and I wonder why in negotiating for salary increase I want to go and talk to Abuja. I should talk to my council. Not Abuja. And government actually bypassed the council and started negotiating directly with unions. And that's one of the reasons why we are in this dire strait. And my next slide is talking about a new order. Definitely there must be a new order. And I refer to a document, a vision for the public university in the 21st century by Nicola Mina and Dr. Sambapati. And that is that universities need to be sustainable in future. The universities need to be independent. And the universities must craft a new vision that clearly outlines their responsibilities as well as those of their staff, students, and society. A central element of this vision, however, is the dedication to accountability. And that's why I commended my Vice Chancellor when I look at your website and your budget is there. So there's nothing hidden, and quite often we hide what we get and we are not prepared. And that's why sometimes we are subjected to a lot of pressure. And when I was Vice Chancellor, I told my boss, I said, please focus it, get your documents ready and in order. When your documents are in order, they will have to beg you for money. But when your documents are not in order, you will be begging to give them money. So get your documents ready, and sometimes you also the other way and say, won't you give us something, then you can give them something. But once it's not in order, you're in trouble. But that is not to say that there can't be some bypasses. I could remember I got a letter saying it has come to our notice that you have misappropriated funds running to billions of naira, and that we should bring documents, contracts awarded in the last 10 years, advertisements, tender analysis, everything to Abuja. Now we spent weeks getting the document ready. And when we took it to FUTA, someone said, "Oh, what did it happen?" And I said, "Sir, would you like to check if those documents are correct?" He said, "Document? What are you talking about? You people are just speaking grammar." And I then did some negotiation, and I said, "We'll come back. So you wanted documents." And on my way out, I met two other vice chancellors from Kano and from Zaria. They got the same letter saying, "You have misappropriated money to billion. Come and bring documents." I just smiled. And when I was in Ife, the following weekend, Professor Money was Vice Chancellor Ife, said, "Correct. What you go petition against me? When you go petition here, I can tell you the petition that misappropriated money running to billion." He said, "So you saw it? Wicked people." I smiled. I said, "We all go the same level." So all vice chancellors go the same level. So we definitely need a pathway to repositioning and rebuilding an university. And we must rebuild on the foundation of autonomy, respect, but we must also reciprocate by being accountable and being judicious in the way in which we use our resources. I would recommend this document to Madam Vice Chancellor, said higher education in the 21st century, global challenge and national response. Contains a series of articles and reference to higher education in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, and so on. And it is a good document that tries to reorientate us as to what we should do to do things better. And under the pathway to reposition and rebuilding, I said we need really to internationalize. There are advantages when you internationalize. One, it allows for cross-pollination of ideas. Two, it will more or less force you to stabilize. When you have prolonged strike, those international students will go away. And they won't come if you don't have a stable calendar. And then it will improve quality for all. And then we need to introduce learning processes using skilled teachers. We need to offer higher salaries, whether we like it or not. The salaries must go. And those salaries must be peculiar to the university system. We need to pay them well, because that's the future of the nation. Then we need to raise awareness for issues such as gender and human trafficking, improvement in governance and financial management, and developing new initiatives including sports. And also improve governance, enhance transparency and communication, investing in leadership development, research and development, and a new curriculum based on ICT, internationalization, digital transformation, better funding, everything will rest on money, accountability and regulation, and then stakeholder expectation. And then I move on to university autonomy. It appears as if this is key. And one of our pride is that we are autonomous. Don't disturb us. Let us manage our system. And this is one of the entrenched cultures, renowned cultures of the university system. We are autonomous, we have academic freedom, and this is important. Apart from academic freedom, we also want to have freedom to choose our leaders. There is also political freedom, freedom to manage our money, financial freedom. So all of these are to be sustained in the university system. And I try to look into the meaning of autonomy and say it's the capacity of an leader to be independent and self-control. So universities must be independent and they must control their matters. And I say autonomy is a complex, multi-dimensional context and time-dependent phenomenon which has been re-emphasized in the last 30 years, and that we need to look at this and improve on it, grab it, fight for it. And there are three main autonomies, as I've said, the academic, the administrative or the political autonomy, and the financial autonomy. And I want to look at the Act, setting up the university, which has been refined and is now called the Autonomy Bill, which is the University Special Learners Commissions Amendment Act 2003. This is the act that is promoting autonomy, and we call it the Autonomy Bill. And for Section 2.1, said there shall be a council for each university, for each of the universities, consisting of the Pro-Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, one person for Federal Ministry of Education, 4 persons representing variety of interest, 4 persons appointed by Senate, and 2 persons by congregation, and 1 person by congregation. When you look at the law in detail, it says the council so constituted shall have a tenure of 4 years from the date of its inauguration, provided that where a council is found to be incompetent and corrupt, it shall be dissolved by the visitor. In other words, the visitor, government, they have no business dissolving a university council, except if they are incompetent or corrupt. So when government comes and dissolve a council, it is incongruent and incompatible with the spirit and content of this law. So we need to fight for it. And then, even when they are incompetent and you accuse them of corruption and say they must be dissolved, a new council, the law says a new council shall be immediately constituted. So there is no need for a vacuum. So we have not respected and we have kept quiet. Association of Vice Chancellors kept quiet for maybe for selfish reasons. Because when there is no council, the Vice Chancellor might wrongly assume that he's not in charge. Or it's not, he or she is not in charge. It's the Ministry of Education and the NUC. And then, if you look at 2AA, it says the Governing Council of a university shall be free in the discharge of its function and exercise of the responsibility for the good management, growth, and development of the university. And then went on to talk about the University Council being in charge of personnel costs, overhead costs, research and development, library development, the balance in expenditure between academic service and academic. So when we come from Senate House of Rep for oversight, we should refer them to the University Council. So that is, but then we must agree among us to say this will be our approach. And NUC must fight for the Vice Chancellor and fight for the university system. And then when you go on, Section 4 says the council shall select and appoint as the Vice Chancellor one candidate. That's how we read this carefully. From among the 3 candidates recommended under subsection 3 of this section, and thereafter inform the visitor. This law did not say that the selection committee should rank for council, and it did not say that council shall pick number 1 or number 2. What this section says is that just send 3 to council, and council can pick anyone. And council is free to even conduct additional screening. So we must respect the law. Internally, we do not respect this law, and that is why this law is also assaulted externally. And then there is another one, I'm sure we are aware of, the crisis in the University of Lagos a few years back, when the Pro-Chancellor acting under council removed the Vice Chancellor. Said the Vice Chancellor may be removed from office by the Governing Council on grounds of gross misconduct or inability to perform the duties of his office due to physical or mental infirmity upon the initiative of the Council, the Senate, or the congregation after following due process. We must not forget that. After due process. So, Mr. Pro-Chancellor or Madam Pro-Chancellor cannot wake up because I do not like the face of the Vice Chancellor, said I'm going to remove the Vice Chancellor. It's not done. It has to be a serious act of misdemeanor. Sometimes burden of financial impropriety before you can now get things done properly, before the Vice Chancellor can be removed. And this is the law that was passed by Senate, passed by House of Reps. So the same House of Representatives and Senate that passed this law should not also infringe on this law. But they passed it, and there is a concordance between House and Senate before it went to Mr. President for approval. And then I spoke about leadership emergence, and I described leadership as the driving force behind progress, and developing effective leadership in this institution is increasingly vital, given the complex social, economic, and political challenges that our country faces. And I also going to look at conceptualizing leadership emergence, informal and formal emergence, and cultural and historical references. Other than the new university, where the Honorable Minister of Education, with approval of Mr. President, can approve without any selection process, a new Vice Chancellor, a new Registrar, a new everything. Otherwise, every other appointment in an established institution must go through a formal process. And I then went on to talk about how University Vice Chancellor is appointed. I've also that I've acted as an unpaid consultant to some who wanted to be Vice Chancellor in Nusuka, in Anugu, in Kaduna, and that's for advice. And I'm giving advice here and there. And the process of appointing a Vice Chancellor is governed by specific guidelines, often referred to as University Autonomy Act, which I referred to earlier on. And the procedure may vary slightly between federal, state, and private universities. But in general, the process follows these steps. Specific laws and guidelines govern the appointment of Vice Chancellor in Nigerian universities. And the process generally involves a selection board of president representatives from the University Council and Senate, who then recommend candidates to council for final appointment. And there are also recent policy changes introduced to make things better because of crisis. And the Federal Ministry of Education also released a guideline or handbook for the appointment of Vice Chancellor, Directors, and Provosts. And they are all listed, there is a detailed procedure is listed for Vice Chancellor, for Rector, for Provost, down to the term the fellow is appointed. For the Vice Chancellor, as I stated earlier on, the University Government Council appoints the Vice Chancellor and informs Mr. President accordingly. For polytechnics, the Government Council, through the Honorable Minister of Education, recommends 3 names in order of merit to the visitor for his approval. For colleges, the Government Council appoints the provost and informs the visitor, who is the Honorable Minister of Education. So the 3 differ from one another. And then I want to talk about the role of the Government Council. And I said the Government Council in the university system is ultimately responsible for appointing the Vice Chancellor. And there is a selection board, which I mentioned, and the role of the Government Council as the selection board is to appoint candidates which are recommended. And then the guidelines, which I've also mentioned, and reformed the eligibility criteria, which must be put in the advert. And all of this must be transparent. And we must also adhere to meritocracy. The decision of the appointment process generally starts of 6 months to the end of the tenure of the outgoing Vice Chancellor to allow for the new Vice Chancellor or the incoming to spend a few months to interact with the outgoing. In most of the higher education institutions, crises have been almost 99.9% limited to universities. So most of my discussion will feature on the university. There is only one institution that is not a university where the crisis is the appointment of the provost. Every other one aside from universities. So there must be something special about universities. The position is advertised in at least 2 national newspapers, and the eligibility criteria, professorial rank, administrative express are all listed, including job description and the deadline and proceeding. And I said, qualified candidates usually professors with at least 10 years of experience submit application. But sometimes they are going vice chancellor and council tend to undercut the system. They will reduce it to 5 years, in some places 2 years, depending on if there was a pre-selected candidate. I think in Abuja, the candidate in view was less than 4 years at the vice chancellor. The government council then constituted a side committee was quite a joint council senate election committee, and then a short list of 5 to 6 is prepared by council to be interrogated by the joint senate council committee. The selected candidates invited for interview. The selection board evaluates candidates based on academic and administrative experience, vision for the university, leadership qualities, past achievements and integrity, and each candidate is graded using an academic system. And then the selection board presents a round judges, usually top 3, usually 3, and the council deliberates and we conduct further interviews. And the round actually is not in the law, so I wonder why it's there. And council selects one candidate from the list and thereafter notifies the visitor. And the announcement is made thereafter there. For state university, the governor usually gives final approval based on the government council's recommendation. For a private university, the board of trustees or the proprietor makes the appointment often less publicly and more directly. And the tenure of the vice chancellor is 5 years, rector proposed 2 terms of 4 years each. And even now, of this, the vice chancellor is the appointment of acting vice chancellor. And federal minister of education has followed this guideline on the appointment of the acting vice chancellor. And when we look at it, it said section 5, subsection 13 of the Act says, in the case of a vacancy in the office of the vice chancellor, the council shall appoint an acting vice chancellor on the recommendation of the Senate. And section 5, subsection 14 of the Act says, an acting vice chancellor in all circumstances shall not be in office for more than 6 months. And on the right, the legal interpretation. It includes whatever happens, whether it is raining, whether there is crisis, whether there is COVID, the acting vice chancellor must leave office after 6 months. Whatever happens, he cannot be in office as acting vice chancellor after 6 months. 3. In all circumstances, he shall cease to hold office as acting vice chancellor after 6 months. In all, by all means, he must vacate office and step aside after 6 months for another person, whether or not a substantive vice chancellor was appointed. 5. In all circumstances, the incumbent shall be in office for 6 months and no more. 6. After 6 months, he shall not be in office as acting vice chancellor for whatever reason and for whatever cause. 7. Under no circumstances shall he hold office as acting vice chancellor after 6 months. 8. After 6 months, he shall by no means be in office as acting vice chancellor, either by reappointment, elongation, direct or indirect method whatsoever. 9. Under no condition whatsoever shall the incumbent be in office as acting vice chancellor after 6 months. 10. After 6 months, the incumbent cannot hold office or be in office as acting vice chancellor under any guise whatsoever. And 11. After 6 months, the incumbent shall not be in office as acting vice chancellor by whatever method. And these are further. The further clarification is that if the acting vice chancellor is keen on contesting or competing for that office, he should not take off the office. He should leave office. So that's to avoid offering an undue terrain or due advantage to the acting vice chancellor. certainly, he or she will certainly be relating to members of Council. And people felt that this will profound your knowledge. And then this slide is talking about, is any university free of this election crisis? Any? And I said, is any institution free? Absolutely almost none. And I started from UI and I ended in FUTA. None is free. And then it has become a matter of media speculation. The only college, I said, veterinary college, just that was stressing over the appointment of the groups. Every other post test, like file, related to the office of the Vice Chancellor. And this challenge has to do with holy volumes, crisis university appointment, controversy case appointment of Vice Chancellor, varsity in crisis, leadership crisis rocks Katsina varsity again, universities experience crisis in appointment of Vice Chancellor, federal government intervenes in clinical crisis, UNN previous crisis pre-appointment, SANU force federal government over appointment of VCs, MUK protest over selection criteria, the list is endless. And I said, the challenges in the appointment process are due to political interference, ethnic or religious consideration, campus politics and lobbying, and legal battles due to disputes over the process. And I then went on to look at it in detail. Political interference, state and federal governments frequently meddle leadership election, prioritizing loyalty over competence, ethno-religious bias. Oh, nobody from Madam has ever been Vice Chancellor. The king will not say we must have someone from this camp, the Vice Chancellor. And then the Kami will say no Kami has ever been Vice Chancellor. The Christian will say, oh, no Pentecostal has ever been Vice Chancellor. The Muslims will say, oh, no Muslim has the crisis in the world. And then occasionally we want the transparent, the selection process, which ordinarily should be transparent. And then internal power struggle within the university. And I said, these systemic flaws are led to leadership that is often reactive rather than strategic and self-serving instead of community focused. And then it's called the missing link. One is absence of the development pipeline. Two, there are no succession plans. There is also embargo on employment. So sometimes you are not even in charge of the employment process. Politicization of employment, external interference in the selection process. Don't be surprised, the governor might say, I want a candidate for my place. Internal politics, religion, and ethnic factors. Two of them, lack of a leadership pipeline and weak institutional autonomy, are key. And I said, Nigerian higher education institutions often do not deliberately groom future leaders. Unlike global best practices, where universities invest in mentorship, leadership training, and academic administrative career development, Nigerian lacks a systematic approach to capacity building. Talented individuals are frequently left unprepared for leadership roles or discouraged from aspiring to them due to the toxic selection climate. And the weak institutional autonomy also allows institutions to be amenable to external references and the politicization of governing councils and the undue influence of ministries erode the autonomy of universities. And without their new independence, institutions cannot develop or enforce leadership selection models that prioritize merit and integrity. And what are the implications? If you have a poor leader, you have academic decline, you have industrial unrest, you have brain drain, and you have loss of public confidence. And then I said, what's the solution? Reforming the leadership emergence. Now, we need to institutionalize merit-based selection, develop leadership training programs, strengthen autonomy and good governance, encourage inclusive leadership, support the emergence of a strong and independent governing council. And my recommendations are the governing council should carefully review the process for appointment of Vice Chancellor. And this role requires creativity, energy, and tact. And in all these areas, adopting a new approach is crucial. The time between the appointment and the beginning of duties will be dedicated to orientation and training, helping the new Vice Chancellor to perform effectively the role for which they may not yet be. Governing councils is clearly defined. The responsibility of the appointed Vice Chancellor and current registrars are not. And I said the outgoing Vice Chancellor should be protected from the process to ensure fairness. And the current registrar, the council secretary, to act as an impartial referee and provide unbiased advice to the council as a whole, especially to the pro-chancellor. They should serve as the council's memory, maintaining records of past activities and alerting the council to potential risks and minefields. And I said the council is totally in control. But I've always given advice to the pro-chancellor that no pro-chancellor acting alone can become a vice chancellor in any university. And I've said that many times. Sometimes they ask me, Vice Chancellor or former Vice Chancellor, do you have any advice? I said, you cannot impose the Vice Chancellor. But sometimes they are called by either, depending on where they come from, the Oba, the Ubi, or the Emir, or the Sultan will say, this is my candidate. You can't impose a Vice Chancellor. So it's important that the pro-chancellor must be humble, must see him or herself as a teammate in council, not as an emperor who can impose a Vice Chancellor. And I said the role of the outgoing Vice Chancellor, I said this is a common source of friction. Because the outgoing Vice Chancellor wants to determine who succeeds him or her. And I said, ideally, these Vice Chancellors should not be involved in the process so that we can minimize crisis. The role of the registrar, I said, is to bias advice. The registrar is knowledgeable about rules and regulations and offer sound advice. Success of the exercise depends on the registrar and the pro-chancellor, and both of them must work together. Where you have the pro-chancellor sidelining the registrar, things go astray. And when you have a registrar who wants to undercut the pro-chancellor, there is chaos. But both must work together. There must be trust and respect between the pro-chancellor and the registrar. And in conclusion, I said the appointment of a Vice Chancellor in Nigeria aims to be competitive, transparent, and merit-based. I said, however, the areas of due process and institutional autonomy is critical to ensuring that only qualified, visionary, and ethical leaders are appointed to guide the affairs of our universities. And in conclusion, again, I said the conundrum of leadership emergence in the system reflects broader systemic dysfunction. And I said that at its core lies the missing link, the absence of a coherent, merit-based, and future-oriented framework for leadership development and selection. And 3, addressing this gap is not only important, but also essential for revitalizing Nigeria's education system. And 4, through reforms that promote meritocracy, autonomy, and strategic value, Nigerian universities can begin to produce leaders who are not only academically competent, but institutionally transformative. Madam Vice Chancellor and Chair, distinguished audience, thank you.
Can we sustain applause? Everybody welcome the profession of the guest lecturer. It was clinically delivered. I'd like to invite, can we resume our seats as I invite the Chairman of Education and Vice Chancellor to preside over the questions and answer session.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for our guest lecturer. Nigerian university system, we do not have visitors. And every day I am convinced that that's my view is correct. I never knew Professor Adewole had served as a consultant on our selection process here before, but now he had made it known to us. So you can see it's not a visitor here at least. I want to thank you, sir, for this well thought out, well delivered lecture. When I said he is one of the people who refer to as a living legend in the Nigerian university system, I believe we are all convinced now. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, who else could have done justice to this type of topic except Professor Isaac Adewole? Thank you. Now we will take a few questions or comments. I will plead that nobody delivers another lecture. We have listened to the lecture, so we will only take comments and questions. I would prefer to take 3, but if you are fast enough, we may take a little more. So I'll start from they say charity begins at home, the whole constituency. Any questions from this side? None for now. I take the second rule, Dr. Rule and the Vice Registrar of the US University. I forgot the name of your university, pardon me. Any question from this room, please? Okay, there is the third person at the back. Because of age, I cannot see your face, so you pardon me. You know when you grow old, whether you like it or not, some parts of the body will show it. This part, please. Any question? None. And then finally, on this side, yes, our distinguished guest in the front. Any other person? No. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 for now. Please direct your questions or comments to the guest speaker.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chancellor. I'm not going to ask a question, but make a plea. And it pleads to my colleagues, professional administrators. These are one of the most practical papers that I deliver in most of our registry lectures of business. How to please please take this and dissect it for your work and you progress by. Thank you very much. Prof. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Number 2, please.
Vice Chancellor, the Speaker, okay. My question is on the process of appointment of Vice Chancellor. I know it's the position of the law that there should be a search committee. But I want to ask, in your own opinion, particularly for older universities, has that committee not outlived its usefulness? Thank you.
Number 3, please.
Thank you, sir. I'm Mr. from FUTA. Sir, my question is, you were once, by the grace of God, the Vice Chancellor, one of the best universities in this country, first university in this country, and once the Minister of Education. I'm Minister of Education. In the course of appointing the Vice Chancellor of the Ministry, we have to present a vision or a mission. And then when you become the Vice Chancellor of the Ministry, you want to pursue that mission to ensure that you achieve your goal. But in most cases, know that there is always a political way that affects the Vice Chancellor of the Registrar in accomplishing their mission. In that case, sir, what you want to do as a Registrar or Vice Chancellor? Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, number 4.
Prof,
exceptional speaker for today. Coming from migration management, do we look at the brain drain or brain gain emanating from the Japa syndrome as a challenge of benefit to the university system? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I hand over to our speakers.
Thank you. I will start with the question of the site committee. Let me thank you. One of the basis of law, a site committee must be activated. That is the law. And my advice is at no point should you jettison any part of the law. Because if you jettison it, oh, it's not necessary. You might as well jettison selection committee. We are sowing the seed of discord. 2, no university has it all. Your Vice Chancellor is not from here, and I'm highly impressed that an national can come here to cross-fertilize the ideas here. So I think we should continue to promote the idea of searching for people who ordinarily do not apply because they think, oh, they've made up their mind. And whether you like it or not, credible candidates will still show up. And I will be someone who will continue to promote the idea of the site committee. On the actualization of your vision and mission document, the first thing I will advise is just pray. Quite often when we are applying for a position, my advice is understudy the institution in order to understudy their peculiarities, their problems, before you start promising heaven on earth. Turn to the bursar, look at the financial landscape so that you don't come to FUTA and say, I will provide vehicles to all HODs where you cannot, or I will provide 24-hour electricity where maybe you cannot even provide 2 hours of electricity. And then people accuse you of not performing. So be careful with what you put in your document. Secondly, pray. I will give you a personal example. Within 3 months of my being in office, we had a visitation panel. And before that, I'm one of those who people believe that when God wants to help you, he will use whatever means is available. Baba Adewole came to UI, and the dean said I should come and meet Baba Adewole. I said I want Baba Adewole to come to my office. That I want him to pray in my office. I have the seat of power and authority in UI. So Baba came and he said, Mr. Vice Chancellor, what should I even pray about? I said, I'm writing a good vision and mission document, but it will require a lot of resources to implement it. He then prayed for resources. Believe you me, 2 weeks later, the visitation panel came. And the leader of the team then asked me, how are you going to implement this vision and mission agenda? And I said, oh, I will go and raise money, I will do this. He said, can we meet in the evening? When I met him alone in the evening, he said, don't go anywhere to look for money. Your money is inside you. Do this, you will get the money. And behold, the money came. So pray, resources will come. And then brain. The Honorable Minister of Education will be flagging off a process next week, a diaspora program. Interestingly, I started a similar program for when I was in office. I call it the Israeli model. In Israel, some Israeli citizens in diaspora are engaged for 1 month at home, and they describe them as being on leave for 11 months. So you can actually engage your diaspora people. And you say, oh, come home for 1 month, work, and for 11 months you're on leave in your country. And they are flagging up that type of scheme in education. And what you will get from it is going to be called brain gain, or brain circulation. let's be honest, there's brain drain all over the world. People move from Canada to Australia, from Europe to US. They must keep on moving. And when they move, it's a testimony to the quality of the training. And so sometimes we must be happy when people move. It is when too many people move that they struggle. But moving is good. And we must find a way to, even when they move, let's engage them. Let's encourage them to come home and give us services, help us. They are your citizens. They will send money home, they will also come home to give us services. And that's the way to really tap from their knowledge, and so that we don't end up losing on all fronts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think that having been done, we want to begin. Thank you, sir. I think we can.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce one of our awardees, the Right Honorable Olabi John. You are welcome to this education center. And all the members of FUTA who have joined our chairman on this occasion, we welcome you to the best of technology in Nigeria. At this point, we would invite the appropriate staff to provide us with some slight entertainment before the award ceremony begins.
Oh
We want to kickstart the second part of the program. Thank you very much, sisters. A round of applause for the the former Honorable Minister of Health and our guest lecturer, our Vice Chancellor, and then the Chibos. I'd like to introduce the following persons and personalities who joined us in the course of the lecture. One of our own, sir, FUTA is also a net exporter of critical manpower to other institutions. Let me introduce two of our exports, Mr. Ife Oluwole, Registrar, Ekiti State University. Mr. Adewole, Registrar, University of Benin. They are all exports. So we also export critical manpower. I recognize Princess Fumilayo Adewole Brown, full-time member, Subek, Ondo State. You are welcome. Larewaju Oyelade, PhD, Dr. Larewaju Oyelade, full-time member too. You are welcome. Mr. Wale Omowowu, Permanent Secretary, Subek, Ondo State. We welcome you, sir. And all directors who have joined the Right Honorable Victor Olabinto to this occasion. You are all welcome. And Madam, we also welcome you, ma'am. All delegates from Fubari and Bogo who have also joined our esteemed Right Honorable Olabinto, we also welcome you. His Excellency Alhaji Olanusi is represented by Nero Olanusi. You are also welcome, Your Excellency. The Controller of Immigration, FA Adara, PCC Service, Ondo State, we welcome you. Right, Mrs. Rachel Olabinto, welcome you, ma'am. Dean School of Physics or Physical Science, Professor Femi Barnabas Abibola, you are welcome. Dr. Olaiton Adeshomoju, former President, FUTA alumni worldwide and member of the Governing Council, we welcome you. Professor Ademola Aremu from the chair ASUUI, we welcome a member of the Governing Council of UI. You are welcome. At this point, I'd like to invite our Vice Chancellor as the chairman of this occasion and the registrar, Mr. Charles Olusegun Adeleye, to present a token of appreciation to our guest lecturer, Professor Isaac Folorunso Adewole, FAS, former Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, former Honorable Minister of Health, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Registry of the Federal University of Technology, I am delighted to present this award, we call it Appreciation Award, to our own Professor Isaac Folorunso Adewole, FAS, who served today as the guest speaker of today's 14th Registry Annual Lecture. We thank you, sir, and congratulate you for this award.
prayer. Professor Adewole is also joining them, former Deputy Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan. Thank you very much, sir and ma'am. Thank you very much. You may resume your seats, sir and ma'am. At this point in time, we're going to go to the second part, but before then, Chairperson of Education, Chief Host, I'd like to recognize the various delegates who have graced education from various sister universities. So as I mentioned, your university kindly rise up to take a bow. First on my list, Federal University, Oye-Ekiti. Delegates from that university, kindly rise, take your bow. Thank you for coming. Round of applause for Federal University of Ilesha, Osun State. A round of applause for them. Redeemers University, Ede, Osun State. A round of applause for Redeemers. Bamidele Olumilua, University of Science and Technology, Ikere-Ekiti. A round of applause from delegates from that university. Ekiti State University, Ado-Ekiti. A round of applause for them. University of Ibadan. A round of applause for them, please. Adeyemi Federal University of Education, Ondo. Bless you, sir, Zama. Federal College of Education, Oyo State. A round of applause for them. Bless you, sir. Elizabeth University, Laramokin. Bless you, sir, Zama. Bowen University, Iwo. A round of applause for Bowen, please. Federal University of Technology and Environmental Sciences, Iye-Ekiti. A round of applause for them. Achievers University, Owo, Ondo State. After Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti. A round of applause for them. Osun State University, Osogbo, Junior Osun. Bless you for coming. Adeleke University, Ede, Osun State. Bless you for coming. Adekunle Ajasin University, Akuba Abuko. Bless you for coming. Universal Basic Education, Akure. All delegates from that great institution. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Joseph Ayo Babalola University, Keji. University of Benin. Yes, delegates from University of Benin. I think I'm missing out university. Oh, Federal University of Technology, Akure. At this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Matthew Odunlade Ayola, former Registrar, University of Agriculture, to the podium. I'm told that Lampton has joined us virtually. A round of applause for Lando Kiakitola University of Technology.
Matthew Odolade Ayola. Dr. Matthew Odolade Ayola was born on 31st December 1957 to the family of Mr. and Mrs. Ayola, both of blessed memory. He attended early primary school at Karabata. For his primary education, he proceeded to Romanian Memorial Grammar School, Ile-Ife, for secondary education. For his tertiary education, he proceeded to the University of Ibadan, where he got a first degree with a BA Honours in History. He proceeded to Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, where he obtained the following qualifications: postgraduate diploma in management studies, Master of Business Administration, Master of Philosophy in Business Administration. Not done yet, he was at the University of Ibadan for a master's degree in managerial psychology. To crown it all, he came back to Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, to pursue a doctoral program, which earned him a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Business Administration in 2021. He is a member of many professional bodies, such as the Nigerian Institute of Management, ANUPA, CIPM, to mention a few. He started his working career in 1989 when he joined the services of Nigerian Corporation in By 1992, he joined the Federal Polytechnic Eden as one of the pioneer staff as Assistant Registrar. He rose through the ranks to become a Deputy Registrar, and in December 2005, he joined the Federal University of Technology, Akure, where he eventually moved to become a registrar at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. He served in that capacity for a period of 5 years, from June 2012 to to May 31st in 2017. He returned to FUTA on 1st June 2017 and remained as director until his retirement on the 31st December 2022. He is happily married and blessed with children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you an astute administrator, a teacher of teachers, and a mentor for the receipt of the Registry's prestigious Award of Excellence. Congratulations, sir.
I would like to invite our Vice Chancellor and the Registrar to do the presentation.
Congratulations, sir. I wish to, on behalf of the Registry, Federal University of Technology, and the university you served faithfully, to present this award to you, sir. Dr. Matthew Odolade Ayola, JP, is an award we call the Worthy Ambassador of FUTA Registry. We congratulate you and for serving us as the Registrar of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir, Zaman, and congratulations, our worthy ambassador. A round of applause for Dr. Ayola. If you want to learn some anecdotes and aphorisms of the Yoruba language, kindly contact Dr. Ayola. I'd like at this point in time to invite you to the podium. Sir, just another confirmation of the fact that FUTA is the net exporter of critical manpower. The man I'm about to call, Mr. Felix Adewole, served as the pioneer registrar, Federal Polytechnic Ile-Oluji, A round of applause for him, please. You may proceed. I'd like to invite my colleague, Tola Rotosin, to lead the citation.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to read the citation of Mr. Felix Olufe-Shayo Adetula. Mr. Felix Olufe-Shayo Adetula is a distinguished administrator with a remarkable career spanning 3 decades. Born on October 21, 1961 in Ondo Town, Ondo East local government area of the state. Mr. Adetula's educational journey began in 1966 at St. Martin's Primary School, Oweda, Ondo. And on completion of his primary school, he was admitted into the prestigious Aquinas College, Akure in 1973. He furthered his education at the Ondo State College of Education, Ikere Ekiti, where he obtained the Nigerian Certificate in Education, NCE, in 1983. He also attended the University of Benin City, where he earned a Bachelor of Education, English, and Arts, postgraduate diploma in Public Administration in 1989 and 1993, respectively. Mr. Adetula also holds a master's degree in Public Administration from Adekunle University of Ibadan. Additionally, he obtained a diploma in Management of Higher Education Institute from Galilee International Management Institute, Israel, and a diploma in professional career skills from the International Business Management Institute, Berlin, Germany. Mr. Adetula's career commenced as a clerical officer at the Ondo State Audit Department, now Office of the Auditor General, Ondo State. He later served as a classroom teacher at Government Secondary School, or River State, during the /74 NYC in 1993, and he was subsequently employed by the Ondo State Teaching Service Commission and posted to the Zero Grammar School in 1984, later to Community High School at Ibadan. Became one of the pioneer tutors of the Federal University of Technology at FUTA Staff Secondary School. Mr. Adetula transited to the administration, University FUTA administration in 1994 as an administrative officer, to FUTA, rising through the ranks to become Deputy Registrar in 2010. He also served as chairman of the Cooperative and Trade Credit Society of the Nigerian Professional Administrators and NUPA, among others. Despite his extremely busy, highly demanding, and complex schedule, Mr. Adetula still makes our time to speak to secondary school students, impacting them with the necessary knowledge needed to be outstanding in life. He belongs to quite a number of professional bodies, among whom is the Association of Nigerian University Professional Administrators, ADUPA, member Association of University Administrators, AUA, United Kingdom, member American Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officer, associate member Nigerian Institute of Management, NIM, certified teacher, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. Beyond academia, Mr. Adetula is a pillar of his community, actively involved in various community activities. He is currently the chairman of the Riakari Estate Landlords Association. A lover of sports, Mr. Adetula was until recently a match commissioner with the Nigerian Football Federation, officiating in Nigerian National League matches. Thank you very much. He was an assistant pastor at the Jesus Liberty Chapel, Akure, and currently pastor at the Jesus Dominion Evangelical Tabernacle, a ministry founded by his wife, Evangelist Mrs. Adetula. Adewole is married to his lovely wife and they are blessed with children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present for this award Mr. Felix Adewole. Once again, I would like to invite our Vice Chancellor and the Registrar to do the presentation.
Congratulations. This is one award I'm so delighted to present to you, Mr. Felix Adewole, JP, from the Registry, Federal University of Technology, and it is presented to you as Pioneer Registrar, Federal Polytechnic in Eruji, and in recognition of your outstanding contributions to national development through administration of University Registry. Congratulations and presented this day.
Thank you very much, sir, and ma'am. Thank you very much. We understand that all politics is local. We will continue the celebration after. We are pressed for time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I understand there is a party after party. Thank you very much. Again, thank you very much. All politics is local. We will continue with the celebration later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, please. 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 May we have us resume our seats so that we can then conclude the rest of the presentation. Thank you very much, please. In Nigeria, there is a reduction, some will say affiliation, of genuine businessmen, those who are actually involved in real productive ventures and are people who employ those of us who are here and those who are trained in the university system. To this fastly dwindling tribe belong Engineer Emmanuel Ojo Adewole, the Chief Executive Officer, Tech Wires and Cables. Sir, it's your turn. To invite my colleague Omani Warren to read the citation.
Engineer Emmanuel Ojo Adewole was born on November 9, 1946 at Akoko, a Akoko Northeast local government area of the state. He started his early education in 1958 at St. Matthew's Primary School in Ibadan, and on completion of the program in 1963, he proceeded to LA Modern School in Akoko. It was after this course that he secured admission to Boluji Grammar School in Yoruji in 1964. In his quest for technical education, Engineer Adewole got enrolled at the Midwestern Technical College, Auchi, Edo State, where he bagged a diploma in mechanical engineering in 1970. He crowned it later with the Higher National Diploma HND from the prestigious Ibadan College of Technology, Lagos, in 1974. In the year following, he secured foreign scholarship that enables him to study at Japan's most famous Sumitomo Electrical Industries Limited, Osaka, Japan. It was at the institution that he got a professional certificate in electric wire and cable manufacturing in 1978. Engineer Adewole joined the service of Nigerian Higher Cable PLC Ibadan investment subsidiary, where through decades of hard work, professional commitment and dedication to duty, he rose through the ranks to become the first Nigerian to be elevated to the position of general manager and later the managing director, CEO of the manufacturing outfit between 1998 and 2001. On leaving the service of Wire and Cable PLC, Engineer Adewole decided to establish to become an industrialist in his rights. He therefore incorporated NQ Wire and Cable Nigeria Limited with its operational base in Akure, capital city of Ondo State, and assumed the role of the chairman and chief executive officer of the company effective from January 2002. With that singular step, he became one of the pioneer industrialists whose efforts succeeded not only in bringing down the price of cable and wire in the country, but also in preventing the influx of fake and substandard cables in the country. Still in the move has updated himself with modern trends in the manufacturing and engineering world. Engineer Adewole attended several management and professional courses, both in Nigeria and abroad between 1982 and 1997. Owing to his exceptional brilliance and unequaled achievement, he has held lots of positions that serve as pedestrian bridge to the heights. He has also been entrusted with several responsibilities, including Executive Member, Cable Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, First President, Association of Overseas Technical Scholars, Japan, Member, Nigeria American Chamber of Commerce, Council Member, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria for Ondo, Oyo, Osun, and Ekiti, Chairman, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Ondo State, Chairman, Industrial Sector, Ondo State Council of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mine and Agriculture, Technical Director, Incubation Center, Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, Akure, Member, Board of Directors, Small and Medium Entrepreneurial Development, Fellow, Nigerian Institute of Technological Engineers. Engineer Adewole is a member of the Rotary Club and he won the Presidential Recognition Award as Most Outstanding Rotarian of the year 1985 and 1986 by Rotary International. Engineer Adewole is happily married with wonderful children and grandchildren who are spread across the globe. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Engineer Emmanuel Adewole. Congratulations, sir.
Once again, I will invite our Vice Chancellor and the Registrar to do the presentation.
I consider it an honor to present this award to you, sir, on behalf of the Registry, Federal University of Technology, Ibadan. We present this FUTA Registry Award of Excellence to you, sir, Engineer Emmanuel Adewole, CEO, Derek Wire and Cable Nigeria Limited, in recognition of your outstanding contribution to national development through entrepreneurial leadership. Thank you.
In politics, Your staying power is an aggregation of your connection with your people and social responsibility to your environment. One of the most enduring politicians of this era in Ondo State is in the building. It is my pleasure and privilege to invite the former Speaker, Ondo State House of Assembly, current Chairman, the State Universal Basic Education Board, Right Honorable Victor Olabinton for his award. Let me invite my colleague to Taiwan to read his citation.
Over 6 decades ago, Victor Adewole was brought to life by the famous Olabinton family in the socio-politically conscious town of Supari in Akoko Southwest local government area of Ondo State. He had his primary education at ACCAC United Primary School, Akoko, and as it was then, began his post-primary education journey at the Anglican Secondary Modern School, also at Akoko, before a full-fledged secondary education at St. Patrick's College, Iwara, Akoko. Victor Adewole Olabinton had his academic foundation solidly rooted before he began university education with an excellent result in the advanced level GCE. At the University of Lagos, he graduated within 3 years with a Bachelor of Arts Honours degree in History. As a way of nurturing the socio-political activities of his roots, Victor was the Secretary of the UNILAG Chapter of the National Association of Ondo State Students, NAROS, from 1980 to 1981. At the same period, he was also the President of the University of Lagos branch of the Historical Society of Nigeria. The degree of political awareness of Victor Olabinton was made manifest throughout his university days at UNILAG, particularly when he was the Secretary of the defunct Unity Party of Nigeria Students' Vanguard. He also distinguished himself as a labor leader. He was at various times the Secretary of ANCOPS in Akoko Northeast Local Government Area and Chairman of NUT in Akoko Northeast Local Government Area of Ondo State. Olabinton was a co-founder and pioneer secretary, National Association of Secondary School Teachers. This brought a cooperative system called a SUSU to schools, whereby people can pool resources together and borrow one another. Today, many teachers rely on the cooperative to boost their economy. His rising political profile, primarily premised upon sound commitment to the well-being of his people, did not distract him from concentrating on building an impactful career in teaching. He joined the Ondo State Teaching Service Commission in 1983 after completing his mandatory NYSC, where he served as a lecturer at the Bauchi State College of Education in 1982-83 service year. So, as a class teacher, vice principal, and principal in virtually all notable secondary schools across the whole of those states. For Victor Adewole Olabinton, his victory in the 2003 election to represent his constituency in Ondo State House of Assembly was a landmark opportunity to serve his people and develop their lives. To his people and esteemed supporters, which included his former colleagues in the teaching profession and former students across Ondo State, it was time to promote him higher. To actualize this, an unsolicited campaign for his emergence as the Speaker of the Ondo State House of Assembly was put together and successfully launched. Therefore, Right Honorable Victor Adewole Olabinton was the number 3 citizen in Ondo State from
Olabinton joined the All Progressives Congress as part of his moves to contribute effectively to ensure more positive change in the society. He was appointed the Director General of Akeredolu Campaign Organization, a role he played impressively well with the help and support of other stakeholders that resulted in the overwhelming victory of the late Arakuni Oluwarotimi Oduayo Akeredolu SAN as the first APC-led government in Ondo State. In acknowledgement of these notable gestures, several corporate organizations, societies within and outside Ondo State had honored Right Honorable Victor Adewole Olabinton, thereby making him one of the most appreciated and celebrated politicians in Ondo State on account of living a life of service for the masses. Worthy of mentioning among the different awards are Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Local Government and Public Administration of Nigeria, Distinguished Leadership Award by the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Marion Award by ANCOPS, Labour Friendly Award by the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ondo State Man of the Year 2012, and of recent, the International Association of Lions Clubs through Akure Owen Lions Club bestowed on Right Honorable Victor Adewole Olabinton into the Nigerian Service Award for the promotion of human dignity. The personality of Right Honorable Victor Adewole Olabinton radiates love and hope of a better tomorrow. Olabinton, a passionate husband, father, and grandfather, is married and blessed with successful children and promising grandchildren. His hobbies include reading, serving humanity, tourism, and travel. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Right Honorable Victor Adewole Olabinton for the FUTA Registry Award. I would also like to invite our Vice Chancellor and the Registrar to give the presentation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, history again is made today in FUTA. Through this registry lecture, we have brought together persons from the academia, from the industries, seasoned administrators, seasoned leaders and politicians, and we are happy that just in one program we have all of these persons in our midst, entrepreneurs and academia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to, on behalf of the Registry, Federal University of Technology, I represent this FUTA Registry Award of Excellence to use that Right Honorable Victor Adewole Olabinton, Chairman Ondo Superb, in recognition of your outstanding contribution to national development through advancement of education. Congratulations.
The Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Technology, Akure. The lecturer, the man who gave the lecture, our own erudite professor, is an academician and is also a politician. Professor Adewole, I recognize him. The registrar of FUTA, Sir, you are highly recognized. All university administrators who are present, you are recognized. Fellow awardees, I give you recognition for the honor that the Registry of the Federal University of Technology has bestowed on us today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, distinguished esteemed guests, my colleagues, both in politics and from SUBE, fellow awardees, I am delighted to be in your midst today to receive this award, and I give God the glory. The growth and steady development of the Registry of FUTA, I commend the registrar, for sustaining and building on the solid foundation that was laid by his predecessors. Please keep the good work going. This is the homecoming of sorts for me, because every education center is home to me. I have spent the greater percentage of my adult life in the education sector, imparting knowledge and building future generations. I started as a class teacher and retired as a school principal. I was later appointed chairman TESCO and currently chairman SUBE. This is apart from being the Speaker of the Ondo State House of Assembly and serving as a commissioner in the Federal Civil Service Commission, Abuja. Therefore, for the aforementioned reasons, I am humbled and honored to accept this award. I accept this award as a personal recognition, but also as a testament to the concerned efforts of successive administrations in Ondo State, especially that of our Honorable Governor, His Excellency Dr. Lucky Olumison Ayedatiwa, the Governor of Ondo State, who right from the onset has been the pillar of all our feasible achievements in Ondo State SUBE. Through Ondo State SUBE, we've made significant transformation in the education sector, particularly basic education, without which most of our children cannot be in the citadel of learning that we are today. Improved infrastructure. We've renovated and constructed hundreds of classrooms, libraries, laboratories, fencing our schools, providing borehole, e-learning centers for our students, thus increasing enrollment in every year in conjunction with the Universal Basic Education Commission, UMEC, Ondo State Super train teachers in various areas of knowledge. And in the last 2-3 years, over 6,000 teachers in our primary and junior secondary have been trained. We have provided increased access to our children for education, thus promoting inclusivity and equity in education. The girl child education is not an exception. As a mark of honor, we have deliberately and transparently utilized funds made available both by the Universal Basic Education Commission and the Ondo State government effectively. As of today, Ondo State government, in partnership with the federal government through the Universal Basic Education Commission, has in the last 3 years invested 14 billion naira to upgrade facilities in our schools in construction, reconstruction, rehabilitation of school buildings, provision of classrooms, fencing, provision of boreholes, distribution of free instructional materials, sporting equipment, agri input, and lockers and chairs for both pupils and teachers. I want you to remember that basic education is free, and I want to tell you that the Ondo State government is making sure that everything that the children need are provided. All these are aimed at making our school more attractive to teaching and learning, towards reducing the growing rate of out-of-school children. Ondo State government, under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, is leaving no stone unturned to make life more conducive and meaningful for the generality of our people, with special focus on basic education of our children and youth and young adults. Ondo State Super is poised to train, build, equip our children because the future belongs to them. Under the present administration, things are looking up and will surely get better. Therefore, I urge you all to strengthen your faith and renew your support for the Ayedatiwa administration. At this junction, I would also like to express my profound gratitude to the members of staff of Ondo State Super that I refer to as Ondo Super team, our dedicated staff, especially the support that I received from the board by the 2 full-time members, Mrs. Brown and Dr. Mrs. Oyelade, the permanent secretary, the management. Without these people, it is not possible for me to have achieved what we have achieved in Ondo State Super. I tell you all, I say, you are all blessed. This award is a validation of our collective effort to improve the quality of education in Ondo State. I am proud to be part of the journey, and I look forward to continue collaboration and partnership with FUTA and other stakeholders to drive excellence in education. I want to assure the Registry of FUTA that on my part, I will, in conjunction with my do the little we can to support your registry. As a public officer, I will not announce anything, but by the grace of God, I will see the registrar before I leave, and I will announce my donation. In conclusion, I thank everyone who played one role or the other in making today's event a reality. Specifically, on behalf of all the awardees, I thank all our families and friends, our associates, our well-wishers who came to celebrate with us today. May God bless and reward you all. I dedicate this award to Governor Lucky Orimisun Ayedatiwa for his unrelenting support for the development of education in Ondo State. Thank you and God bless you.
All the awardees should join the high table for a group photograph. Can the protocol officer also bring their award? Please come, sir. The protocol officers kindly bring their awards along with them. I'd like to bring forward Mr. Adewole, Chairman of the LOC. Mr. Fafila, it's your turn. And you don't come. Mr. Adewole, Chairman LOC, can we have this? And you don't come. It's your turn. A round of applause for Mr. He has worked tremendously to ensure the success of this occasion. Mr. Adewole, please.
May I request every member of Parliament to please step forward? Members of the Registry Annual Lecture Organizing Committee, please step forward. Members of Registry Annual Lecture Organizing Committee, please step forward. Starting on the existing protocol, I want to present the vote of thanks for this successful outing of FUTA Registry. Members of the Registry Annual Lecture Organizing Committee, please step forward. It is with profound gratitude to the Almighty God and deep appreciation to all the strategic stakeholders that I, on behalf of the Registry Annual Lecture Organizing Committee, RALOC, celebrate the conclusion of the 14th Registry Annual Lecture. On this auspicious occasion, special acknowledgement must be given to the trailblazing registrar, the late Dr. Mrs. Eunice Olufunke Oyebade MNI, under whose able watch this laudable program started in 2009. I respectfully acknowledge all the go down with special recognition to the current ex-man, Mr. Charles Olusegun Adewole, for his exemplary support for RALOC. I reserve a very special place in our hearts and commendation for our dear leader, number one citizen of FUTA, Professor Adewole Emergence, for our unflinching support for the registry. Madam Vice Chancellor and the University Management have stood by the registry and by extension, rather, without the support of the management, we would not have had the glorious outing of today. I would like to particularly appreciate our highly revered guest lecturer, our father in the academia and the university system of Nigeria, Professor Folorunso Adewole, CON, for his invaluable time and for sparing the time to share his wide and rich experience in the university system with us today. Long may you live, sir, as you continue to bless humanity from the web of your knowledge. Special thanks to the awardees of today, Right Honorable Victor Olabinto, Engineer Emmanuel Adewole, Dr. Matthew Ayola, JP, and Mr. Felix Olufeyisayo Adefula, JP. We appreciate your enabling presence and support through the good messages from your associate friends and well-wishers. I would like to say a big thank you to the following personalities who aided our call for assistance and gave the remedy towards ensuring that today's event is a success. I start from October Sunday, Dele Ajayi, Mr. Israel Adeyinka Kolawole, Dr. Mrs. Oduayo Adewolodu, Mrs. Omotola Ariyo, Mr. Adetola Adekola, Mrs. Abiola Ogubeta, Mrs. Adetutu Awolala, and Mrs. Catherine Lebile. This piece will not be complete without acknowledging the support of members of staff of the registry, your service on RALOC and the subcommittees, as well as your financial contribution reflects your love for the registry and the registrar. You are most sincerely appreciated. To colleagues from the registry of sister institutions and distinguished guests who came from far and wide to make our day, I thank you especially and wish you journey mercies to your respective destinations. Long live Registry FUTA, long live Federal University of Technology Akure, long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Can you take a bow, members of your committee, and exit graciously? Exit with grace. Thank you for your service to humanity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are now drawing the curtain on this glorious occasion. I'd like to ask all my colleagues from the University Library Registry to wait after the national anthem. Some persons will be coming to see. Shall we please rise for the FUTA as well as the national anthems?
Thank you. please. Members of staff